Have you stopped to think how a small country like Denmark, known for its tranquility and high standard of living, has come to be one of the most invaded by immigrants? Mass immigration has changed the rules of the game, both in its economy and its national identity. But what has truly captured the attention of many is how this country is facing the situation in a way that no one saw coming. Strict laws? What you will discover in this video is not just the problem, but also the fascinating solution that Denmark has implemented, which could forever change how other countries manage immigration. If you think you've seen it all, I assure you the best is yet to come. So, stay with me, because this journey has an ending that will surprise you. Denmark, a country whose history is deeply tied to social welfare, economic prosperity, and a cultural cohesion that has been the envy of many in Europe. However, in recent decades, one issue has put these fundamental pillars to the test: immigration. To fully understand how Denmark has arrived at its current situation, we need to look back not only at recent events, but also at its deeper history. How did we get here? Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, Denmark was a predominantly homogeneous country. The migratory waves that impacted other European nations during the Industrial Revolutions and World Wars didn't affect Denmark as much, as its size and geography kept it relatively isolated from these flows. However, as globalization began to weave a denser network between countries and continents, Denmark was also caught in the migratory currents, especially in the 21st century. Industrialization played a key role during the 1960s and 70s. Like many European countries, Denmark attracted foreign labor to maintain its economic growth. However, what was initially seen as a temporary solution for the labor market soon became a permanent phenomenon. The workers not only arrived but brought their families and settled down, creating a new social and cultural dynamic. But the real turning point was the arrival of refugees from conflict zones in recent decades, mainly from the Middle East and Africa. These new waves of migration were not just workers seeking employment, but people fleeing war, persecution, and extreme poverty. This shift in the profile of immigrants presented new challenges for Denmark, both economically and socially. One of the most notable aspects of the Danish model is its welfare system, designed to guarantee a high quality of life for all its citizens. Free education, top-tier healthcare, and generous social subsidies are just some of the features of this system. But how does mass immigration affect this structure? The reality is that the arrival of a large number of immigrants has placed significant pressure on the welfare system. In 2018, for example, public spending related to immigration and refugee support exceeded 33 billion Danish kroner, a figure that set off alarms in both the government and among citizens. So, and it's not just an economic issue. As more immigrants use these services, some sectors of the population have begun to feel that their own benefits are at risk, fueling social and political tensions. The labour market has also been affected. While some immigrants have managed to integrate and contribute to the Danish economy, many others have struggled to find employment due to language barriers, cultural differences, and lack of adequate training. This has led to an increase in unemployment among certain immigrant groups, which in turn has generated greater dependence on social subsidies. According to a 2020 report, unemployment among non-European immigrants in Denmark reached 24%, a figure considerably higher than that of the native Danish population. So the inevitable question arises: can Denmark continue to maintain this generous welfare system if immigration continues to rise? The challenge of immigration is not only economic, but also cultural. Denmark is a country with a strong and well-defined identity. For centuries, Danes have shared a common history, language, and traditions that have cemented a deep sense of belonging. However, the arrival of large numbers of immigrants from very different cultures has led many to question what it means to be Danish today. For some, cultural diversity is seen as a threat. In recent surveys, a significant portion of the Danish population has expressed concern that mass immigration is eroding traditional values and altering the country's social fabric. In neighbourhoods of cities like Copenhagen, The coexistence between native Danes and immigrants has created friction and, in some cases, has led to urban ghettos where immigrants live separately from the rest of Danish society. Adding to this is the growing presence of Islam in a country that has historically been Lutheran Christian. According to official statistics, approximately 5% of Denmark's population is now Muslim, which has sparked a debate on how to reconcile Danish traditions and values with the customs and beliefs of the newcomers. This debate has intensified around issues such as the wearing of veils in schools, the construction of mosques, and the implementation of Sharia law in some communities. However, amid this whirlwind, Denmark has not opted for inaction. On the contrary, it has taken a firm and decisive approach to addressing the immigration crisis, and the results are beginning to show. The challenge of immigration is not only economic, but also cultural. Denmark is a country with a strong and well-defined identity. For centuries, Danes have shared a common history, language, and traditions that have cemented a deep sense of belonging. However, the arrival of large numbers of immigrants from very different cultures has led many to question what it means to be Danish. One of the first steps the Danish government took was to tighten its immigration laws. In 2015, Denmark implemented a series of reforms that have been key to curbing the flow of illegal immigrants. Among these reforms is the reduction of social benefits for newly arrived immigrants. Previously, anyone who arrived in the country was entitled to receive generous subsidies, which some critics argued incentivized immigration. With the new reforms, benefits have been significantly reduced, discouraging the arrival of immigrants who have no intention of working or integrating into Danish society. Additionally, Denmark has implemented a system of return centres for immigrants who do not meet the requirements for asylum. These centres have been controversial, but have proven effective. Instead of allowing illegal immigrants to remain in the country indefinitely, they are now housed in these centres until they can be repatriated to their countries of origin. This has reduced the number of undocumented immigrants on the streets of Denmark and has made it easier to control the flow of migration. Another key aspect has been international collaboration. Denmark has signed agreements with countries like Rwanda to manage asylum applications outside its borders. This model, which has been both praised and criticised, aims to ease the pressure on Denmark's asylum system and ensure that only those who genuinely need protection enter the country. But Denmark has not only focused on border control, it has also invested in integration as a long-term solution. The Danish government has invested in programs designed to help immigrants learn the language, acquire job skills, and adapt to Danish culture. The results of these efforts are starting to become visible. In 2020, the employment rate among non-European immigrants reached 72%, a significant increase compared to previous years. This has not only reduced pressure on the welfare system, but has also allowed immigrants to become active and productive members of Danish society. Danish schools have also played a crucial role in integrating the children of migrants. Through special programs, immigrant children learn Danish from an early age, which facilitates their integration into the education system and gives them a better chance of long-term success. A 2019 report showed that 90% of immigrant children who attended these programs successfully integrated into regular schools within the first 2 years. A surprising aspect of Denmark's success in managing immigration has been political unity around this issue. Unlike other countries where immigration has deeply divided society and political parties, in Denmark there has been a broad consensus among the major political parties. Both the left and the right have adopted a common stance. Denmark must be firm in controlling its borders, but it must also be fair and compassionate in the way it treats immigrants already in the country. This unity has allowed reforms to be implemented quickly and effectively, and has prevented immigration from becoming a polarizing issue as it has in other European countries. But this is not the end of the story. Other European countries are facing similar challenges. A similar situation is also unfolding in countries like Ireland, where significant progress in managing immigration is being made every year. Don't forget to check it out and share your thoughts. I'll leave the link in the description, or you can head directly to my channel, where you can find many more videos like this one.